You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to giving you the inside scoop on what's happening on the lakes and waterways of our region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Your host, V&M Baits General Manager Kevin Jean and B.A.S.S Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff. Two guys with years of tournament experience with Pro-Am circuits like ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and B.A.S.S Opens. Anglers willing to share their knowledge and to give you inside information to make you a better angler. So get ready to take some notes and learn exactly how anglers are catching the big stringers right here on Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome to Tackle Talk Live here on Tuesday, April 18th of 2023. I'm B.A.S.S Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff. And behind me, you see my B.A.S.S boat. And I got my B.A.S.S shirt on today. We got an official. We got V&M General Manager Kevin Jean sitting down there in Lafayette, Louisiana. And Kevin, today we're going to visit with not the champion. We got the runner-up, a young man that I'm anxious to talk to, the 19-year-old Trey McKinney, who was a runner-up in a B.A.S. Open on Toledo Bend. I mean, that's incredible to me.
Yeah, Steve, his story is impressive. I mean, to be his age, to be from up north, where, oh, Lord, I forget where he's from, way up north, to come down and you know, he's one of the guys. He's one of the guys that, Steve, that caught him shallow and deep. Of course, hats off to Ben Milliken, who won it running away. We all know how he caught him out deep, throwing some big baits and stuff. And Ben just, we tried to get Ben on. Ben wasn't able to come on the show today, so we went to number 2. And Trey, man, his story is interesting. I'm glad Trey's able to come on with us because, again, as his age, to be able to do what he's do and to be as well-spoken as he is, I'm real excited for this interview, Steve.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anytime we have these young people on, I'm always looking forward to it. Also, we're going to visit with Sam Rayburn guy, Garrett Hilton. We both know Garrett. Great angler, does a wonderful job over there at Sam Rayburn. If you're looking for a guide fishing trip, Garrett's definitely your guy to hook up with over at Sam Rayburn. He's going to talk about what you need to be throwing out. Call all you Bob Seeley fans. Call those guys and say, hey, tune in because Garrett Hilton's going to be on in the second half of our show. Probably, I'm going to say around 11:45, 11:50 maybe. And so call your buddies. He's going to give some good inside tips for all you guys fishing the Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash at Sam Rayburn this week. Also, we're going to wrap up the Outlaw Outdoors. Had a great turnout for that event. ABA Open Series event number 3, not a great turnout, but there's just so much going on. Their anglers were spread all over the South. That took place at Rayburn. And we got the Brandon Belt results, which took a lot of guys from a lot of people. They were over at Lake Palestine outside of Tyler, Texas, and so we'll get the results of that as well. And they look like they caught them pretty darn good over there. Yeah. We got lake level reports, Kevin. We got upcoming tournaments. All this today on Tackle Talk Live. We're going to take a short break and recognize a few of our great sponsors. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry 2 of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and B.A.S.S. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garment and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santones, Pro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49 or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in today. This segment presented by Toledo Health, the boat shop, and 3J's four-way home of Cypress Knee Outdoors. Once again, if you're coming up I-49, stop in right there. Exit 127 just south of Natchitoches. And he's got everything an angler could ever want, whether you're going to Red River, Cane River, Toledo Bend. It's right on your way, so stop in there. And he's got some great food, great deli. Grab you something to eat while you're there. And John Abraham and the gang will take good care of you there at Cypress Knee Outdoors. Like I said, exit 127 off I-49 on the east side of I-49. On the Tackle Talk hotline, we've got, actually, he's in Oklahoma right now, Trey McKinney, headed for Lake Eufaula, do a little practice fishing, but he finished as a runner-up this past week at the B.A.S.S Open on Toledo Bend. Trey, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing amazing, man.
Yeah, Trey, we was just covering everything. So I want to get, and you're from Illinois, right, Trey?
Yes, sir. Southern part, not Chicago.
Okay. 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
So just graduated high school?
Actually, I'm still in high school. Yes, sir. I'm a newly 18.
Okay. Wow. All right. So kind of go through the week here, Trey. We got on the first day, you had 21 pounds, 12 ounces, sitting in 7th place. Day 2, Day 2 was your best day. You had 23.1, moved you all the way up to 2nd place. And then on the 3rd day, you caught him again, 22.8, finished up 2nd place overall. Behind Ben Milliken, who had an absolute awesome week. But, man, you had an awesome week as well. 11 pounds separated you in 3rd place. So, man, hats off. Great week at Toledo Bend. Was this your first time ever being at Toledo Bend?
Actually, yes, sir. Yes, sir, it was.
That's even more remarkable. It's the first time he's ever been at the place. Finishes 2nd in a B.A.S.S Open. I mean, we're talking some hammers are in this event. And Trey, I'm telling you, I am absolutely flabbergasted. I don't even know what to say. When a guy comes in, it's kind of like, who was that came in, Kevin, and won 2 back-to-back tournaments a couple of years ago? He's on the Elite Series now.
You got me there, Steve.
He was from up north. Anyway, I'll think of it here in a minute. But he kind of came in and did the same exact thing. But he was out there on the River Channel and forward-facing sonar and dropping on them and catching them, and won 2 back-to-back tournaments.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, you're talking about Colt. He's from Missouri.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, sir.
Cole, I'll think of it here in a minute too. Let's get back to Trey though. Trey, so you show up at Toledo Bend, man. Never been here before. 18 years old. You have 5 days of practice. I'm assuming you got here for all 5 days, correct?
Yes, sir. They give us 4.5. The last day.
4.5. All right. So man, kind of break down practice for us. Where did you start? What did you roll with? Kind of break down your practice for us and how you put this thing together.
Cody Huff, that's who it was.
Absolutely, man. Yes, it was. It was it was one of the things where when you look at a lake that's 185,000 acres, and I'm from Illinois, man. I mean, like our biggest lake is like 10,000 acres. My home lake's 25,000 acres, and we have 3 or 4 tournaments on every weekend. So there's a couple hundred boats on just a 2,500,000 acre lake there. So I mean, it was crazy. It was very intimidating. I know. I kind of started with the main thing. I mean, there's a lot of pressure down in like Housing, 6 Mile, that type of area. And I figured, just this time of year, they had been spawning. I had caught a few, man, and they were bloody tails, some that was pure post spawn. Some had already healed up. So, I mean, I was like, man, there got to be some schools somewhere, And, man, I idled for 2 days straight, and I found one school of spots where I catch probably 80 spots, but none of them would be over a pound, 2 pound. I mean, just little bitty guys on a jigging spoon, that type of thing, or a Demiki rig from Strike King. So then I was like, man, I got to switch up something. So, man, I ran basically total opposite in the lake. I ran up past the bridge, around the bridge, as you guys can see of that morning. I caught them around the bridge there on the big bridge. Just a lot of different techniques, man. And when I looked at the water, I noticed, man, I was like, man, it's coming up. And, like, down to heart, man, I'm a shallow water fisherman. Like, if I can get up there in the bushes, if I can push my way in a creek, that's where I'm going to be. And I started flipping, and all of a sudden I had a bite. I had another bite. I had another one. And there at the end of the day, I had, like, 27 bites I had shook off flipping. And, I mean, that was unbelievable. Best day I probably ever had flipping. And some big ones.
Flipping
I
bushes?
figured they were all the – oh, yeah, flipping bushes, flipping trees. Flipping every once in a while, you come around some grass that you'd flip. Yeah, just kind of sparse stuff, looking for maybe some of them later spawners. I know I had some that, man, every feeling in my gut felt that I knew they were spawning, just how they would bite it, how they would roll on it, stuff like that on that side of things. So I figured some of them were spawning, some of them were immediate post spawn, just kind of hanging around before they shot off out in the no man's land. And then all of a sudden, the first day, like I said, I caught a 6-pounder off of about a 6-inch diameter little tree that I had flipped. And I pitched up there, and she was in no more than a foot of water. Like, unbelievable. Just my favorite type. And I caught 21 pounds of shallow that day flipping. And the next day, I figured I saw it tapering off falling. So right there in my mind, I was like, we just got to try it. And sure enough, that was probably the best day I've had flipping, because it kind of pulled them to those outside edges, because when it gets flooded, they can move up, they can push themselves way back up in the trees where you can't get to them, And I think that's what I had a lot of that first day is, man, I caught some that was like, I mean, ridiculously far back up in these trees. And that second day, it kind of pulled them out to the edges, and that was my best day I had there. And then the third day, man, I come back, I had a lot of local pressure. I had 4 boats on my starting stretch. And then I went to another stretch and I had 2 boats on it. And they're not very big stretches, I mean, they're like 10, 15 bushes here or there on that side. And then all of a sudden I looked at the water and it's dropped even more. I mean, I could see the water line on the trees. And that's when it hit me to go start on that offshore spot, kind of a flat. Maybe them gizzard shad were pushed up there spawning is what I kind of figured, because I snagged one on a rattle trap. But I had 3 big bites of shallow that day in less than 3 to 5 foot of water, immediate post-spawn fish out there like that. And I caught them on a big swim bait, more like natural brim covered. Like I said, it's totally different than what I am. I just got confidence. And for me, I think fishing is a total mental game. I feel like it's definitely on amount of confidence, because I'm not the guy that, and I hate to say this, it's almost like a see it to believe it, If I throw a bait I've never liked, I never even thought much of, and all of a sudden I catch like a 5-pounder on it, it's in the arsenal forever, I mean, it's locked in. I'll always have that in my book to play with and everything else like that. And that's another thing with that big swim bait. That's the only one I throw. It's more of my confidence color. And I got 3 bites on that, and then actually I went offshore up north as well. It's kind of a little hard spot there that I had idled in practice. I didn't see no fish or nothing like that, but it was kind of located in the right, just kind of in the mouth of a bay. That all these fish that late spawners, is more towards Main Lake, that they should have been spawning in the later months, should come out and pull out right to it. And sure enough, I pull up over the Strike King, Chartreuse blew back on 5XD, and throw it out there, and I catch back to back 4-pounders, 3 in a row, right there off that spot, and that's on it was just incredible on that side of things. So it was a super blessed trip, man. It was unreal.
Trey, did you have much of the competing anglers on the first 2 days, Thursday and Friday? Did you have much pressure where you were catching them in the bushes there? Or did you have that all by yourself?
That was the one thing. I had one guy, I think it's BJ Uzi. He was, we kind of found the same stuff, and like we were both surprised. He's like, man, you found this too? He's like, no, how'd you find this? So we were kind of surprised at each other, like, okay, like we just got to make it work, and we were real good sports to each other, I feel like, and managed fish well. On that side of thing, on one of our stretches, we both caught them off 2 days, and then the third day the water dropped and I had a lot of local pressure in there. But yeah, for the most part, I definitely didn't have as much pressure, and that's why I wanted to get away from some of these people. Is everybody hears of the grass, like Housen, 6 Mile, like all them creeks down there, and absolutely, I mean, as you can see, Ben Milliken was down that way too some, and everything else like that. But I mean, I was just trying to get away from the crowd. That many boats, everything else like that. So I basically went north and stayed north. So it was basically north of the bridge pretty well 24/7 of the tournament.
Trey, when you say north of the bridge, I mean, did you go all the way up to what they call Blue Lake 1215 area? And what was your number one flipping bait that you were catching your fish out of the bushes with?
Absolutely. And so some people would question my my strategy on this, but I flip on this style of thing, postbone fish, finicky fish. It's a baby jig, it's from Strike King. It's called a baby structure jig. They make a lot of good looking colors, man. And I put like a menace, a rage bug, anything you want, anything you got confidence in, man. I mean, that jig, it's phenomenal. I also more of a brim color on this tournament, but I mean, they make black and blues. They make more for dirty water colors. I mean, the selection's really, really cool. And menaces match it well on any color you've selected on that type of thing. But the hook, the only bad thing every once in a while, that's what I'm saying, people question it, for flipping, and I was throwing a 7.4 heavy with a loose TI and a loose Custom Pro on a Legend Extreme 7.4 heavy from St. Croix, matched with 25-pound Tatsu, man. And I mean, that's one of the things, them bushes are wicked, man. And I've tried the 20, and I mean, it's one of them deals where when you got that much money on the line, you can't take those chances. I mean, flipping that in that thickest stuff, man, 5 more pounds ain't gonna hurt you. To me, I feel like in that dirty water. But yes, sir, I made it up to like the Blue Lake area, and even quite a bit north of that as well. I was catching some fish, so it was definitely one of the things where I tried to get away from the pressure, but there was 2 different types of pressure. I got away from the Bassmaster pressure, but I got more into the local pressure. There was a lot more local pressure than there was down the lake for some reason up there, but there wasn't as many of our guys fishing up there.
Yeah. Trey, so going into the event after practice, I know you felt good about the bushes, but any idea that it was going to, you have no idea, but was you real excited about, things with the bushes you found, or was you kind of nervous with the water fluctuating?
I was really nervous, man. And I mean, this is one of them lakes, man. I figured just my luck, just how everything plans out, day before the tournament, it's going to go to dirt. And that's what I just figured, And I kept it in my mind. I tried, like I said, I didn't find any fish offshore. I just had some spots that, man, that just looked right, more than places that, man, they should get here, just kind of feel your gut. But I felt all right. I just felt like my biggest problem was getting a big bite. And, I didn't catch no giants. I had a 6-pounder. But, day 2, I was calling like a 410. Not like 410, not like 4 3/4, but 410, right at a 4-pounder. I threw back. The last day I threw back a 415. I was catching a lot of those good fish, them solid 4 to 5 pounders.
So on day 2, when you had 23-1, what was your biggest fish?
Probably like 5, maybe 5 1/4.
Oh wow, you had all quality then.
Oh yes, sir. I had all smack dab. They were all fat. I mean, not fat, but they were all like super good 4-pounders to 5-pounders.
Trey, with your generation of anglers coming up, a lot of you younger guys, forward-facing sonar has been a real key ingredient to success that a lot of you guys have had. Did forward-facing sonar play a role for you at all this past week at the Open?
Now, I'll tell you what, like I said, us young guys, I mean, it's like a video game. We've learned to adapt. We've learned, you're at a disadvantage if you're not going to use it sometimes. I mean, some areas you just got to. You can't compete sometimes is how I feel. I mean, Ben Milliken, like he said, he's an absolute stud on that live scope. And like I said, I've been able, I mean, yes, sir, I can absolutely achieve on what I'm trying to do. I can hit my cone without even looking at the arrow most of the time. But this tournament, man, it was really great. That's the thing I was really excited about. Man, I could just go fishing, you know. I didn't have to look down. It was one of them tournaments where, you know, I didn't even worry about. I had it off half the day, 3/4 of the day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when everything switched, and I had to go offshore, I mean, it was one of them things where I turned it back on and I pulled up to that little hard spot and I seen 3 or 4 there, and like I said, 3 casts in a row in that same spot. I caught those 3 fish that were all over 4 pound, and I mean,
wow.
Like I said, you can't go without it. I feel like unless you are local more or less and have lineups and have like anything else like that where you can hit your spot and hit the most high percentage area. But a person with live scope that's really good can come up to a hard spot and find the high percentage areas in under minutes, you know, on that type of stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely a need, you know. I feel like on a lot of different areas because I caught a 9.4 on it a couple years ago on a drop shot. I've caught some absolute giants on that thing, and that I would have never caught without it. So it's definitely a have to, I think, if you're going to fish a big circuit or anything else like that. Even trying to compete locally now with Texans, man. I mean, you guys are crazy hammers compared to like, and up in Illinois, man, we don't have a whole lot of this live scoping. We do, but it's a lot of shallow water. I mean, I know one lake, 10 foot. I mean, I don't think I've ever caught one past 10 foot. You know, real shallow stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's super shallow. So,
well, Trey, talking about different things. So I'm assuming you're fishing all the opens. You're fishing all 9.
Yes, sir. I'm in EQ. Yes, sir.
Where are you sitting at points right now?
I'm sitting in 5th.
Okay. Good deal.
You're in good shape. Yes,
sir. We're going to try. Like I said, I finished 19th at Eufaula because, well, I finished 20th, but since the last game, that guy got the DQ or whatever, it brought me up to 19th there. So, like I said, I got a good start. Just got to keep it rolling. Hopefully, Bugs Island looks pretty good. It's just a lot different than what I'm used to. But, like I said, just got to adapt and roll with it.
Well, bass fishing, Trey, as you're going to find out in your career, is a momentum sport. And when you got that momentum, boy, I tell you what, it makes a big difference in whether you have success or not. So congratulations on your big runner-up finish at Toledo Bend. And we're going to be following you, man. We're going to be staying in contact with you.
Well, absolutely. Thank you, bud. So, like I said, I got Instagram. It's Trey McKinney Fishing. Like I said, I'd love to have people tag along, follow me on my journey. I think it's going to be cool. Like I said, very blessed. So, the Lord has passed for us. We don't all know, you know. So, I'm curious to see where it's going to take me.
Trey, man, congratulations again, and we'll be definitely following you, and hopefully we get you some more followers along from down here in Texas and Louisiana. Man, take care, safe travels, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Trey McKinney. Folks, remember that name because, Kevin, I'm very impressed with him. This is a young man has a bright future, I think, in front of him. We could be looking at a guy 4 or 5 years from now as one of the big sticks on the Elite Series or MLF, either one. I think he's destined for success.
No, there's no doubt. And Steve, me and you've talked about this several times. There's some guys that you talk to, and in my profession, I'm looking at it a lot, that you just say it's not a matter of if he makes it, it's just a matter of when. And I think I told you that with Nick LeBrun. It wasn't a matter of if Nick was going to make it to that level when he started this process. It was just a matter of when. And I think this kid's on the same path. It's not a matter of when Trey McKinney makes it, either MLF, Bass Pro Tour, or the Elite Series. It's just a matter of when. There's no doubt about that. He is very, very – and Steve, the thing about it is not only can he catch them, He is very, very well spoken, which you have to be nowadays.
Yes, yes. And to still be basically in high school and touring the country the way he's doing, I'm just telling you, his support system must be off the chart, because there ain't a lot of people can do what he's trying to do, Kevin, at that age right now.
Could you imagine just trying to do this interview like he just did when you was a senior in high school?
No. I just got through putting G.I. Joe on the shelf. So, but anyway, we're going to take another quick. And when we return, we're going to have Sam Rayburn guide Garrett Hilton as he previews this week's Sealy Big Bass Splash on Rayburn. We'll also wrap up Outdoor Outlaws ABA Open Series, event number 3, Brandon Belt Tournament on Lake Palestine. We'll have all that and more when we return. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. I'm Cambridge Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean. But I tell you, old habits are hard to break. This segment presented by Pride Rods, Keys Toledo Bend Tackle, and the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Texas. 2 locations, one in Broadus, right there on the banks of Sam Rayburn, and the other one in Nacogdoches, Texas. So check them out. Insurance for all your boating and truck, house, whatever you got, they can cover it. We got a special guest right now on the Tackle Talk hotline. We've got Sam Rayburn guide and a great angler in his own right, Garrett Hilton. Garrett, hey, man, welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming on. Hey, and so many people have called their buddies. They got everybody tuned in now. All these Sealy people are going to be over at Sam Rayburn. There'll be 1 or 2 anglers show up for that tournament probably. So give them an idea as to what they need to do to maybe catch that. You know, what we think, Kevin? A 4-pounder probably gets you a good check at this event.
I'm not gonna say a good check. A 4-pounder will get you a check. I think Sam Rayburn is obviously it's starting to fish a little bit better. Things are getting right, but Garrett, you'll kind of be able to tell us more on that. Give us just before we start a fishing report, kind of give us your thought on Sam Rayburn. Where the water's at, how the grass is playing for everybody. Maybe for some guys that have not been over there, just kind of give us a late rundown.
Yeah, sure. Hey, thanks for having me. First of all, it should be a good event. Lake's set up really nice. We got beautiful hydrilla pretty much all over the lake this year. Should be a fun end of summer too. But lake's up in the bushes. You can just show up and flip bushes and catch fish all day doing that. There's some nice fish getting caught in bushes. I think more of the nice fish are going to get caught on weightless flukes and jerk baits over some grass, stuff like that. And that's a pretty simple technique. A lot of people be able to grasp pretty easily.
Well, and I've had some people ask me over the years, that aren't great anglers, but they just want to know what's the one bait I can throw during this event at Sam Rayburn. What's the one bait I can go out there and throw? Garrett, give us your take on what if you had to pick one bait, tie the sucker on and chunk him wine, which one would it be?
Oh man, that V&M pork shad, that 2.0, I like the Gleason's candy color, and put that sucker or weightless fluke on there, or a little split shot in front of there, and chunk it out there over that grass and fish it slow. I mean, that's deadly on Rayburn from about February.
You've been catching good quality doing that, Garrett?
Oh yeah, that's a lot of those post spawn fish. This year they seem to spawn inside that grass. So in the fall the water was low when the grass grew, and we had a good inside grass line, right? Well, the grass grew and the water was low, then the water had come up. So between the inside edge of the old water line and the bushes, there's no grass. It's just bare banks. So a lot of those fish kind of spawn right there. So when they're done spawning, they kind of pull out to the edge of that grass right there and just feed up, eat the bluegill that are coming in, shad everywhere. Shad are coming in trying to spawn. That's another deal going on too. Shad spawn on main lake points, clay points, just right up the edge of the lake in your boat, look for white birds and pull right in there and start chunking.
What about brush pile, Garrett? I mean, are they starting to become a player? I mean, Sam Rayburn is basically known as a brush pile lake. Have the fish made it out that far yet?
They have 20 foot and shallower. Those fish, we don't really catch them too good until about August, and brush piles deeper than 20 foot, but 20 foot and in, those are good. We have more grass, so there's not as many in brush piles, but I mean, I think it could definitely be one out of a brush pile. If you're looking for that one big bite, you can go out there and just fish brush piles all day. So yeah, I like the J-Mag. Throw a J-Mag on a half-ounce shaky head, and dob that worm right there in that brush pile, and hang on for dear life.
Another thing that I've had quite a bit of success with over there at Sam Rayburn is the V&M Baby Swamp Hog, and it's in the same color. Outlaw Magic's been a really good color for me over there as well as the Gleason Candy, but that's another. If you're flipping bushes, that's a really good bait to tie on.
Yes, sir, it is. That one there. I also like that J-Bug too, flipping bushes.
Yep.
Yeah. Garrett, what is in your opinion, will it take a 10 this year to win it, the whole thing?
I bet so. There's been some big fish caught, man. A lot of big ones caught this year.
What about hourly?
Deal.
The big,
I'm
hourly.
with you on a 4 or 5 pounder.
Yeah, I mean 3.5. I don't see a 3.5 getting a check this year.
It's fishing pretty good. It's probably going to be a 4 or 5, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I got you.
And
that lake's got a bunch of them too.
Yeah. And that speaks highly of where the lake's at right now. I mean, the quality is there. The grass has come back. It's just to me, and I think you'll see the results of all the grass coming back this year. It's just going to pay off for the next couple of years in return as well.
Yes, sir. That's right. You look at Toledo Bend too. It's kind of when the grass come back. Grass makes such a huge difference on the East Texas lakes. I mean, Toledo's fished awesome with all the hydrilla that's popped up this year, and Rayburn's the same way. When we have grass, we have a good year, and it just cleans up the water good, provides oxygen, shade. The little bait fish or the bass that hatch when they spawn, they have a place to hide. They don't get eaten. So in the future, that grass is going to pay dividends for us.
Yeah.
I got a technical question for you. The north of 147 Bridge, a lot of guys are catching fish up there, but it seems like you're having a harder time catching the big bags. Is that because there's more grass on the south end now, mid-lake, on down? Is because you don't find
you might want to change that, Steve, to north of deer stand, because they getting caught in deer stand.
Yeah, they're staying on up. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. That deer stand, there's a bunch of grass. I'll tell you, deer stand's got beautiful grass. Canyons has grass that's beautiful. Pokers Creek has grass. Jackson Hill, the whole Jackson Hill area on the between the bridge and Jackson Hill Point, that's all got grass. Bird Island has grass. Harvey, Mud Creek, Julie has a little bit of grass. Julie Creek, Caney is gorgeous. Beach is gorgeous. Five Fingers
Yeah.
is gorgeous. Norris Coleman, I mean, you name it. There's grass in most creeks, and it's beautiful. They've been getting caught everywhere this year. So it's not
Yeah,
just
there's
one
grass
area,
all the way up on the right side as well. Buck Bay and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that has grass.
Yes, sir. It's pretty. Miller's, Buck Bay.
Yeah.
I will say this, up the Atoyuk, you're going to run, if you're an angler and you like to fish up the Atoyuk, prepare yourself for some really stained water, not really muddy, but it's got a hard stain to it. Very little grass, but they are on those cypress trees up that side of the lake as well.
Yes, sir, they are. Buddy of mine went up there the other day. He caught them pretty good up that Atoyac on just the main lake points on the top water, and flipping some trees and stuff like that. Tons of cypress to flip up there.
Yeah, Garrett, somebody needs to get a hold of you for a guide trip. How they need to get a hold of you?
Facebook. If they could go through Facebook, just look me up, Garrett Hilton, and it's through my personal page. Just call my cell phone. It's 409-926-4395, and go that route right there, or Facebook Messenger. Either one. I check them both. Good
deal. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on and kind of getting us tuned in for all the Sealy guys this weekend, and best of luck to you, and we'll see you on the water.
I appreciate it. Good luck to everybody fishing the big bass splash out there, and be safe.
All right. Thank you, Garrett. Garrett Hilton, Sam Rayburn guide. You got his number now. He gave that out. If you want to get in touch with Garrett for a guide trip, hey, nobody better over there. He's as good as you can hire. So, great guy. You're going to learn some stuff too. He's really good with electronics. He'll put you on, show you how to use your electronics and put you on some really good fish. And so check it out. Garrett Hilton, Sam Rayburn guide. So, all right, Kevin. Outdoor Outlaws results from Sam Rayburn this past week.
All right. So let's see. Skeeter. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The Skeeter. This is stop number 3 in the Outlaw Outdoors series. First place, Aaron Freeman and Hayden Heck, who let's see, had 33.10. I knew there was a 33-pound bag load this weekend. Make sure it was them. Aaron Freeman, Hayden Heck won the Outlaw Outdoors series number 3 event, 33.10. Cord Rawls and Blake Foster was second with 23.75. Third place was Charles Godringer and Don Isles had 21.95. Fourth place, Kerry Summerall and Travis Moore had 21.82. And fifth place was Dustin Gunstream and Branson Gunstream had 19.64. Took a little over 14 pounds to get a check, Steve. Yeah, 14.36 got a check.
Is Don Isles, is that Danny Isles' dad?
No.
I don't know if he's any relation. Anyway, okay, moving on. The ABA Open Series, stop number 3, Southeast Texas Division. A very familiar name, new Camus pro staffer, Scott Dean from Terrell, Texas, took home the first place prize in this event. He had the 5 fish for $19.49. Second place was Phil Addison from Baytown, Texas. He had $13.44. Big drop off. The bite was pretty tough on Saturday for this event. A lot of guys really struggled. A lot of guys struggled, including myself, keeping fish buttoned up for some reason. I don't know what the status is, but I heard a lot of complaining at the boat ramp and at the weigh-in about guys had fish on, just didn't get them in the boat. And so George Dawson finished third with 12.19. Richard Wagner from Jasper, Texas, a local stick that's a really good angler, finished fourth with 11.61. Adrian James, our buddy from Winfield, Louisiana, he had 11.47 for fifth. Walt Roberts was sixth, 11.13. And Kevin Lazione was seventh from Dry Prong, Louisiana, 10.75. So not a lot of limits caught, only about, looks like 12 to 14 limits were caught, period. And Todd Driscoll also had, he finished 12th from Jasper. He had 9.51. Again, the bite was pretty tough on that Saturday at Rayburn. So and there was a lot of pressure, Kevin, a lot of boats everywhere. They had 2 or 3 tournaments going on besides us with Outlaw Outdoors, and there were certain places you wanted to go, and you got there, and there was teams on it. And so what do? You just
you got a lot of guys practicing for the Sealy this weekend too.
Yeah, no, that was true. And some retirement tournament going on too. A bunch of retired guys, fishing team deal. And but anyway, Brandon Belt results. That took a lot of guys away from ABA and probably Outlaw Outdoors as well. The show, as they call this, was at Lake Palestine, Texas. Some guys call it Palestine. I've always heard it called Palestine. But anyway, being from East Texas, it's always been called Palestine in my mind. Wilcoxon and Wilcoxon don't have first names. They finished first with 2-day total of 41.78. Harrison and Lee finished second with 40.57. Clayton Bullware, Chris McCall. I just happen to know those guys. That's how I know their first names. So they were third. Great team right there. Bullware used to fish with Albert Collins a lot. So him and McCall have paired up. And they finished third with 38.98. Russell Cecil, Todd Castledine. They finished fourth with 38.97. Another great team. Temple and Menez, they finished fifth with 36.24. Hughes and Stewart were sixth with 35.02. A team called Real Deep Fishing is finished with 33.21. Derek Mundy and Jason Bonds was eighth with 32.11. Burns and Burns were ninth with 29.42, and rounding out the top 10, Cross and Dillard finished 10th with 28.98. I'm not sure if that's Jim Dillard from Monroe or not, Kevin, but anyway, that's the results of the Brandon Belt tournament at Lake Palestine. So,
Steve, shout out to Kelly Jordan winning the MLF event last week. It was good to see Kelly win another event. It's been a while, and I was proud for him. Local Lake Fork guy.
A lot of you watch this show. Also watch another show I'm affiliated with, Hooking Up, Tracking Down. We've got Kelly on tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon on Hooking Up and Tracking Down. So if you want to tune into our Facebook page, listen to that live. Kelly will be on at 12 o'clock noon to talk about his tackle warehouse win on Lake Eufaula. So, also, lake levels have kind of stabilized. Rayburn's at 165.51. It's up a foot, a little over a foot, 1.11 feet. They had a 10-day gain of 6.24 inches, 24-hour loss of 0.96. So they're starting to pull water at Rayburn and kind of bring it back down a little bit. Toledo Bend, 170.99. The difference of 1.19 feet low, 10-day loss of 1.08 inches, and 24-hour gain of 0.6 inches. So water still coming in over there. But anyway, they're pulling it down. I'm sure they're pulling pretty hard on Toledo Bend. So, yeah. And one more, Lake Fork is at 401.81 feet. It's it's down 1.1 feet low. It had a 10-day gain with all the rain of 5.52 inches, a 24-hour loss of 0.36. So it's also starting to fall as well.
Yeah. So for upcoming events this weekend, the BFL guys are at Lake of the Pines. So big weekends for Lake of the Pines, back-to-back weekends. You got the BFL guys there this weekend. Next weekend, 28th, 29th, the solo 150 guys are there as well. Along this weekend, also Texas Team Trail is at Ray Roberts. So a lot of big tournaments going on elsewhere. I know the MPFL is at Wright Patman up there in Texarkana this weekend.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going on up north, next couple of weeks. I'm trying to think, Toledo Bend wise, I know Bass Champs is coming up the first weekend in May. The weekend of the 27th, 28th that's the top six tournament, the club's top six tournament. So a couple of things going on in Toledo Bend as well.
Yeah, and then, of course, coming up in the second week of May, a lot going on in May. We'll get to May a little bit later on. But Toyota Series at Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma. A lot of guys that fish from this region will be going up to Eufaula, Oklahoma, following the Tackle Warehouse guys. A lot of those guys will be fishing that probably that were in that in the last Tackle Warehouse. Some of those Toyota guys will be there as well. Yeah. So Lake Eufaula fish get hammered pretty good, as well as, like you said, Lake of the Pines. I'll be there starting next week, and hopefully it fishes well. I've heard different rumors that they're not everywhere, but when you find them, they're kind of grouped up. So,
yeah,
they're kind of grouped up right now. So,
yep.
But anyway, All right,
Guys,
Kevin,
make sure to go follow Trey McKinney on his social media accounts. That's one of the things he wanted to come on the show. He's trying to build his brand. So go give him a follow on his social media accounts. Good kid, as you can tell. Going to do big things, no doubt about it. To be that well spoken and that well educated in this sport at that age, looking for big things from that kid. So make sure and give him a follow on his social media accounts.
Yes, definitely. And also, one quick reminder, the Solo 150 Tour, event number 2 at Lake of the Pines, again, next week. This coming Friday, April 21st, is the deadline at 5 o'clock to enter that event. So if you want to enter the Lake of the Pines next week, you've got to enter by this Friday at 5 o'clock. Entry fee is $600. 2-day event. Kevin, that's all I got. What else you got?
I think we covered about all of it today.
Yeah, we did. We got a lot covered today. Well, we want to say we appreciate you tuning us in. Check us out on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or our podcast. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page. Kevin will make sure he sends out a detailed packet of how you can become a member of our sponsorship family. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.